Well, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Zach. He is native of Delaware. He runs the Loft Realty team. He's got 1.6 million followers on TikTok, and I did some coaching with him social media wise back in what was it, 2020 or 2021?
A minute ago, because I don't do the one-on-one coaching anymore. So
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
it was a long time ago, but I learned so much from Zach, and I thought he would be an awesome person to bring into the group for everybody to ask a million questions. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable people at social media that I've ever met.
I appreciate that because you're super knowledgeable on social media.
I
That
learned
means a
from you.
ton. Oh, stop. Yeah. Quick background on me. I got started in real estate 2017, January 2017. Got my license and got a team rocking and rolling within 3 years because for the first 3 years, all I did was social media. Was broke. I just got out of the army. I didn't know what to do. I started in a prison system, working in the prison system, not in the prison system, and got bullied pretty much into becoming a realtor. Had no circle of influence of any type of wealth at all. And so I just started making Facebook Lives and a couple Instagram posts. And I got on TikTok in 2019 before the big boom in like late 2020 on it. And yeah, we get about 82% of our business from social media, and we're going to close 250 deals this year. And I just want to be an open door of knowledge for what we're doing. I'm an open book. So whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's Google PPC, we run TikTok ads as well as TikTok organic. We do pretty much a little bit of everything. And if we don't do it now, it's probably because we've tried it and didn't like it. So I'm excited for the conversation.
Awesome. And Zach, how would you like this to go? Like, do you want to sort of just like run through sort of like a presentation of some sorts? Do you want us to chime in? Do you want us to hold off on questions until certain
I
points?
mean, honestly, I feel the biggest value in things like this, and I saw the word mastermind on this call is like the opportunity for like I can sit here and say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is how it works, blah blah blah, and go through the tactics. I'd really love to know what are you looking to do in the marketing world, digital marketing space, specifically in your business, and let's kind of chat it up and see what ideas are flying around. I mean, I can definitely start with on the mastermind side, what's working in TikTok. I can give you three right off the bat. The main things I'm seeing are working right now: long form videos on TikTok, really killing it, especially within the niche of what the long form's about. It's less engagement sometimes, but I've even had some virality from it. But the people that are watching it, if you post a 9-minute video on TikTok about different pizza shops in Delaware, no one from Illinois gives a damn. So it's going to only be seen by those people. Two is
Right.
TikTok Live. Been doing a lot of TikTok Live. Did a little bit this morning. We'll be doing more this afternoon. A couple ideas behind that if you don't want to just sit and talk to a camera, because that can be difficult. Just saying, hi, Ryan. Hi, Brad. What's going on? Treat it like a news station. Have like 3 rotating topics that you want to go through. Spend about 15 minutes, 5-minute cycles talking about them, and then start over. Nobody sits on a live, at least the majority, for more than 2 or 3 minutes. So treat it like Fox News. They run 4 or 5 stories and then repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. The other style is what I'm doing. I'm doing cold calling, lead gen, actually kind of day in the life activities live on TikTok, and people find it very interesting. I, of course, mute it when we're talking personal information, emails, addresses, and making sure that they're protected. But and then the other side is going live while creating content. I think that's a little meta hack. If you're behind the scenes of your own content, if you're sitting down doing a listing video, something like that, having someone actually live showing like what's actually going on is working. And then the last thing, the number 3 for TikTok, TikTok ads. The ads are so good. And we run ads on all platforms. We've even tested Pinterest and Spotify ads. And they blow everyone else out of the water in terms of conversion, in terms of how much it costs to get the conversion, and brand awareness that no one even comes close. So that's kind of the overarching what's working. And that's specifically TikTok. But we get about 30% of our social media leads from YouTube. We run Facebook ads and get organic leads from Instagram. So I'm down to hear any questions and field any good conversation around social media digital marketing.
Amazing.
I have a question about your. Go.
Sorry, go. I was just going to say Gigi has her hand up.
Oh, go for it, Gigi.
Hey, Zach, thank you. I have a question. You kind of touched on it a little bit when you were going through what works, with TikTok right now. I'm kind of at a crossroads right now where I want to maximize the content I'm putting out. So I have this like map of doing long form and repurposing and, you know, getting it down to a bunch of shorts. And I'm having a hard time coming up with topics for long form. Whereas short form, it's quick, it's easy. I can rapid fire things and I can create, you know, like 90 clips in a week if I wanted to. But I don't know. I feel like it's holding me back a little bit because obviously it requires a little bit more planning. It's not so much off the top of your head. So I'm wondering, I'm like, well, maybe just to delete that out of my task list and then just stick to shorts and reels and TikToks. I'm just wondering how important long form is and if it's really necessary to make a dent in lead generation.
That's a great question. High level question. So I wrote down a couple things while you were saying that and taking long form to short form, a couple strategies for that and what you can actually make long form wise that is going to work on platforms you posted on, you know, Facebook, YouTube. You can even post up to like 30-minute videos on TikTok now, and Instagram. But let's talk YouTube. You said make a dent in lead generation. YouTube has made a gigantic dent for us in clientele, and we've only had it for just under a year. It's our birthday's coming up in 2 weeks, and we've generated, I don't want to make up a number, but it's well over 20 million in business just off YouTube. And the topics we're focusing, and you can look up our YouTube channel. It's all on at Zachary Loft on YouTube. Don't subscribe and do all that stuff. You're going to jack up my algorithm. But if you want to look what we're making, please do. Focusing on hyper niche location. So what I mean by that is bringing up the local articles, bringing up the new building that's getting brought up, the new restaurant, the new bar, and having almost like a news segment about your area is very popular. I see some creators doing on YouTube and does well, and it makes for really good clips. If you're doing like a 15-minute breakdown and just going like almost like a news segment on the area and what's happened in the last week, month, that's good. Another one is countdowns and lists, doing like 12 bests for this, 10 reasons to do that, the 7 reasons people don't like living here, the 12 things people wish they knew before moving, you know, all that works really well. And of course, you're speaking in segments, so it makes it really easy to get clips out of that. Now, to your other side is like, is it worth it, or should I just grind out the clips? Maybe, because frankly, if you're seeing more success when you're putting the phone in your hand and editing it right there within TikTok or Instagram, and like that organic feel of the video is performing better for you, maybe that is a better answer. I know a lot of people that are spending a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort to get these high quality clips, but whenever they get their lazy ass to actually go like this, that video performs 20 times better. So that's a great question. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know because I can just abandon that thought and stick to what I know is working for me. But also, I need to challenge myself a little bit and think out of the box and to figure out a way to incorporate it into my schedule.
Do you have
So
a
that
videographer, Gigi?
no,
Okay.
I have everything set up. Like I have lighting and all that. That's fine. It's
Do you
just
have an editor?
I could do yes, I have an editor. I could do batching. That's fine. Like, you know, once a month I can just batch out. I can do that. It's just I don't know. I find like a lot of hesitate. Like I guess that's normal. It's like darn, I have to work.
Yeah. But I love where your headspace is at on that.
Yeah, it's like
That's
how
a good
can I
question.
be most efficient and enjoy it and be fast and you know, but I guess
One
won't get
one
there.
thing one thing that I did the other day, Gigi, and I'm trying to get into YouTube too, is I invited my favorite mortgage broker to come over and get together, and we just set up a little studio shoot, got the lights out, got the camera out, you know, had our wireless mics and everything, and we just riffed on some of the stuff like buyer roadmap, um, myths about mortgage brokers and realtors. Like we just tried to like get 3 or 4 done, and by working off like a partner, it was a lot easier to get the length that you need for some of that long form stuff, and b kind of fill in those awkward gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've noticed in a lot of videos that Zach's been making, like you've always got somebody that you're talking to too, most of your videos.
Yeah, it's tough to make videos on your own, especially long form. Especially long form. And a lot of the clips that are going out are like podcast conversations. Then a clip comes out. I think a podcast is a great hack to go long form into short form.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, and I'm speaking in terms of like it's just an idea that I have, not something that I'm executing yet. But I am someone that is really good at selling myself on social media, selling my personality, like getting people to like want to work with me based on that. But I'm not the best. It's like a barrier that I need to cross to like educate the audience on things. Like I feel imposter syndrome on, like talking about market data, talking about certain things in that regard. And if that's something that's holding me back, I can just interview people that know those things. I don't have to be the one, like being knowledgeable. I don't have to be the one like they're not the consumer's not going to care that the information is going to come from that other person. They're not going to care that like, oh, he doesn't know shit like the other person does. Let me go work with them. That doesn't matter. Like they're getting the information and I'm still able to kind of,
You're
be
still
a
the one
part of
giving
it.
it to them indirectly.
Exactly. Yeah. And then what I kind of want to parlay that to is Zach, your lives that you do. Do you have I want to say call it purpose, but do you have like a strategy behind it? Or are you just jumping on live sometimes and just kind of shooting the shit, just kind of, like seeing like I know you said the behind the scenes part of it and making content, but like just generally you're at home and you're jumping on a live. Do you have like a purpose behind that? Like, are you trying to like get them to get to know you better? Like they've enjoyed your content. Now here's sort of like the next tier of like, do you have a strategy behind that?
I think there's a lot of ways you can approach that. I think yes, you should have a strategy, and I do have a strategy. But I think everything you just mentioned can be a strategy for what you're looking to do. If you're
Yeah.
looking to grow brand awareness, maybe you are just going as location talk as you can. Restaurants, food. I just spent 30 minutes and we were talking rural farms versus Wawa in our area, and the chat was loving it. It was very engaged, and it's a local facing topic. And my tag is Zachary Faust, Delaware Realtor. So the whole entire time branding, and then of course more middle of funnel opportunity is kind of like the lead generation, doing the lead generation live and doing those calls and also doing that news version of like going through stories. I have people that will sit and watch the lead gen or sit and watch me talk about stories, and then they'll just write in the comment section, be like, I'm looking to buy in the area. What do you think about this area versus that area? Or if I'm doing cold calling, they'll hear something and be like, wait, so what do I need credit score wise? And then we'll go into that. And there's a couple comments that come from that. So it's always new because there's always new comments and new things that are going on. It's like Mike Tyson says, once you get punched in the mouth, your game plan goes out the window. So you got to go with the flow, and that's the beauty of live. But I love it, and the connection I'm getting with people is top tier. Top tier.
Amazing. I have another question.
Please,
So like
Ask three.
I'll use my particular situation. I have a largely realtor-based following on social media. And that's because like the content I was putting out when I first came out was, entertaining for realtors.
It's not it's for Austin or Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Very good. So that kind of like generated like thousands of realtors, but I have very little consumers following. So like, is it just making consumer-based content and it will just come as you continue to push that out? Or is there any, way or quicker way that you can also, build that consumer-based following?
I think if you're going at it, it's such a great question. Again, I think there's a lot of agents out there that are making content for other agents. And I think sometimes there's a strategy to that and a reason and a call to action as to why they're doing that. But largely, I think a lot of other agents don't know who they're making content for. And so in this case, how do you actually get the consumers to watch if you're making consumer facing content? A couple ways. Positioning them on SEO backed platforms like YouTube. Shorts is something you can utilize and build a platform there. It's heavy SEO. TikTok's also going heavy SEO. So I've seen over the last just 9-8 months in shifting into locational focusing content, really hyper niche in the area stuff. It's taken a good amount of time organically for the algorithm to start picking up exactly what I'm putting down. But it revolves around consistently putting out similar content that's engaging and also hitting the metrics that TikTok wants. TikTok wants engagement, so people need to be commenting. People want people to be seeing it, so they got to have a retention rate. And the way you can hack that, if you want to hack Okay. It's not free. It's putting money behind it. Because when you put money behind it, here's what happens. I have content where I'm like, hey, this incredible lunch spot in Delaware versus this incredible lunch spot in Delaware, ranking them. Like, nobody outside of Delaware gives a damn. So only people in Delaware are going to watch. So let's say I put that on TikTok, and normally, let's say I get 100 views on a video. This gets 800 views. Oh, okay, that's the one. I'm going to take that video, and I'm going to go into TikTok Ads Manager, and I'm going to promote that video. I'm not going to promote it from within the app. I'm going to promote it from TikTok Ads Manager. It's cheaper. And I'm going to push it to only people in Delaware. Because TikTok basically has built me this test group of saying, all right, it's going to go out, and the algorithm is going to tell me if it sucks or not. If the algorithm tells me it's better than normal, I'm going to put money behind it against a locally facing audience that gives a damn about what I'm actually talking about. There's two secondary hacks that come with this, okay? With TikTok specifically, they don't know the difference between paid and organic traffic. Follow me?
Yeah.
So if you have a bunch of Delaware people watching the content, you're telling the organic algorithm, hey, Delaware people, we need to show this to Delaware people. The secondary hack is that if you know anything about TikTok, you know that when you follow somebody, or even if you watch a full video of theirs, or you like it and comment on it, there's a strong chance within 10, 20 swipes, you're going to see that person again. Or at very least within the 24-hour period, you're going to see that person again. Same thing for ads. So if you watch, engage with, like the ad, you're then going to start seeing my organic content. And so they'll naturally grow into the community, naturally become, you know, a consumer-facing market. But that's a great question because I had to make that switch myself.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Of course, dude. Great question.
When you were
Zach,
getting, oh, sorry, go.
sorry. So are you still working with like clients one-on-one, or do you kind of more focus on getting clients for your team and handing them off?
Mixture. I'm a sucker for the game. I love going on appointments. I love working with clientele. I love the challenge of the toughies that are even $200,000. I'm just a weirdo like that. I did get out of production for a bit and focused heavily on checklists, SOPs, and every logistic. And I slowly built myself out of a job. So I jumped back into production, and really it's just the factor of I'm doing content, I'm doing calls, and I'm doing client work. That's all I do.
I'm thinking like, how outside of paying for ads, is there anything else that we should really be focusing on to try and get our content in front of more local people? Because I'm like Andrew, like when my account started, I was trying to make content for consumers, but I was only getting other real estate agents following me. And now I'm at the point where like I can make content for consumers, I can make content for agents. My content for consumers does shit. Like it's horrible. And I'm having a really hard time switching away, but I just try and keep things light and funny on my page. I'm not much of an
And you
educator.
do a great job.
I'm more of an entertainer.
Yeah, you do a great job of that.
Where I'm struggling is like, how do I I guess when you and I were chatting the other day, you were talking about local virality, but how do I get my stuff to be in front of more local people that may necessarily not follow me, but without spending a ton of money on ads?
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely. So SEO, going after SEO and what people actually care about. So there's a show I watch called OP Live. It's cops, it's live PD. I find it interesting. I'm kind of in the middle on the whole whether or not we should be following around cops with a live camera. So I kind of watch it from that perspective. And it's interesting. If you watch that show, you could see all the commercials are based for a Republican 45 to 55-year-old white male. And it's very clear, just all the advertising is for that person. Now, do they start the ad by saying, hi, are you a 45 to 55-year-old white male who loves cops? Well, I got something for it. They don't do that. What they do is they find the audience that they know likes their product, enjoys their service, and then they place it in front of something that entertains that type of person. So if I'm trying to get local people, obviously I want homeowners and people, you know, alike that want to buy, invest in Delaware. I need to figure out what Delawareans like. And at the end of the day, they're not usually huge fans of boring real estate content. So what we do, and I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, is we talk about the local restaurant. I interview the owners. We call them celebrities, you know, like DE celebrities. Like these are the people that other people know. I grow a consumer because to be honest with you guys, 1.6 million followers was shit because like 20,000 of them were from Delaware. Like 10% were from Melbourne, Queensland, Australia. But what am I doing with that? And so building that consumer audience started with just hammering on the stuff that people care about. Now, how do you get that in front of people? It has to be the connection. So for example, I have a few videos now where I'm talking about a local restaurant or brunches or blah, blah, blah. And the person across the table from me, we're using that Instagram collab feature. So my content seen by them and their content seen by me. And our audiences are cross-pollinating. I'm doing that with a bunch of different people that are celebrities. And so all these different local audiences are then seeing me as the person who's connecting everybody else. And so it's turning us slowly into a stronger point of authority locally. And that's how we're doing it. And you get the natural shares of stuff that people are interested in. If we're debating on the best brunch spots, people care about that and they're going to get involved. And the best pizza and the best cheesesteak. And I like food, like all these places. And now restaurant owners hit us up and bar owners hit us up to come do reviews for them or plug them. And now we have great ownership or relationships with those local owners. So I think there's a jillion ways you can do it, but that's the way we've done it.
Zach, how long in the beginning did you say it took you to like start seeing, I almost call them results, but like not necessarily like you're doing a deal like in 3 months, but like, how many videos do you think like roughly like where you're like, okay, like this is starting to like click a little bit now? Dozens?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Thousands. I mean, just to be honest with you, thousands. I mean,
Yeah.
thousands of hours. I'm last week I did 21 hours on TikTok live because I'm learning it. I'm growing
Right.
it. I'm not getting my feet wet. I'm drowning in it because I need to immerse myself. Like when Clubhouse came out and everyone was like, this is weird.
Right.
I immersed myself. I told my wife, I'm not going to be present for a few evenings for the next few weeks because I know this is going to be like, because it always is.
Yeah.
So 2019, April, I was on TikTok making as much spaghetti as I could so I could just throw it at the wall. And I
Right.
found more walls. When that was covered in spaghetti, I threw more wall. Like the art of doing it gets you better. Yeah, you know, like I can't tell you if you were to say, Zach, I want to get good at basketball. What should I do? Go play basketball. I can't tell you if you're going to be a great three-point shooter, if you're going to be a great defender, if you're going to be excellent at getting rebounds or a tactician, but you're going to know after logging 1,000 hours of playing basketball. And I view it the same way in the gym. Like no one expects to lift 300 pounds when they walk into the gym for the first time or lose 30 pounds the second time they go to the gym. They may want to, but they understand that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Same for this, man. We got to put in reps. And you're saying like, hey, like, how do I get the consumer facing in front of me? If you're not putting out 2 to 3, maybe a day pieces of content that are locally facing, you're not giving the algorithm enough opportunities to link you to that consumer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I brought that up because I mean, I suffer it for myself. Like a lot of people here have established their content in a certain way and facing low engagement, facing, you know, like what they
expand. I got on YouTube last year in April, last year. All right. You expand, get into another platform, change it up. Kristen, start a new Instagram profile. Don't change your content on this one. Maybe start a new one. You know, we have like 4 different TikToks that we're always kind of shifting around and trying new things on. And hey, maybe this only gets this kind of content. And it is getting a little bit more complex. But for the simple top producer that just simply wants to put out more content that brings in clients, I would highly, highly advise having a YouTube channel you make long form content on that you create shorts from that go out on all channels and you go live a lot. That's right now the system that's working.
So essentially you're just saying to just like punch your social media channels as much as you can and just keep talking about your city and post as many times a day as you can.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing I
Yeah.
learned from you that I think would help a lot of people here was the amount of posting you needed to do. Like you gave us a formula at the beginning of our coaching where it was like, you need to be posting a certain number of stories a day, a certain number of posts a week. You need to go live once a week. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I've always said, if you really want to grow and get better in the content world, putting out anywhere from 5 to 7 stories every single day, making at least 1 to 2 posts every single day, and going live at the very least once a week. I would say that should be higher at this point. But those are good things to do because the lives and the stories disappear when you're done with them. So that's awesome. All right. And then the other thing that's great is if you're putting out posts consistently and they're all focused around a similar topic, those social media platforms are going to slowly learn who to put it in front of. They're slowly going to put you out on the explore pages and the For You pages of the world. And you may say, so that's not going to generate me business. Bullshit. You have a video that works and then you throw $20 behind it. And that's not a crazy amount because I know you're spending $50 a day on DoorDash to get the money against the content to put it in front of the local audience is such a hack. It's such a hack. And I can also tell you another hack right now. If you want to talk real estate, talk about how much it sucks. Talk about the person that's struggling. Talk to the person empathetically that is sitting watching Zillow and just thinking, what the fuck? Like, honestly.
Like
That's
the
what
people
you
that'll
can talk
never
to.
afford a house, those kind of people.
To that extent, yeah, because here's the hack of it, okay? So you may think on the surface, Zach, why would I want to talk to those people? One, they're plentiful. A. Two, in marketing, your job is to give answers to questions and to solve problems. Okay. So if there's a problem, we should talk about it. When I'm talking about those types of things and telling stories about people to make $110,000 a year that can't afford a $300,000 house, it gets engagement. And when things engage and when people watch, it shows to other people. So if I have a gigantic audience, because I know 86% of Americans can't afford a mortgage today, the median home in America couldn't get it with a mortgage, 86%. I know they're on TikTok too. If I can get all of them to engage with that, well, I know it's also going to get shown to the people who can and want to and have a home. And I'm getting out to those people. Whereas if I just sit here and say, home prices are going up. If you didn't buy, it sucks to suck. All the people that own a home, you're incredible. I want to talk to you. It's not going to get shown to anybody. I'm never going to get in front of that person to even give that message because it's not going to go anywhere. That's kind of the strategy behind it. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who hit me up that are like, I don't think I can buy. And they're like, my low 700 credit score, and I only make 150 a year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, you can buy because they're from, New Jersey. And I'm like, just come over here. And then they're good. So it ends up working out. And ultimately, I get the engagement I need to get out to the people that do end up working with us.
YouTube Shorts aside, are you
Mhm.
making content largely and just posting on every platform simultaneously, like for Instagram? Because I know Instagram Reels, you can post longer content now, same as TikTok, same as YouTube, but they're different formats. Like, how are you doing it?
YouTube. So my personal channels, anything at Zachary Loft, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all get the same ones. They're not necessarily
And vertically shot.
vertically shot. Now, again, when I'm talking about this system, this is my system I've built off our podcast. All right. I shoot the hour-and-a-half long podcast. We pull 5 to 7 clips out of it. Those 5 to 7 clips drip out over the next following week to 10 days. And they're scheduled out by our virtual assistant team. I'm not scheduling them out. We schedule one per day, not on weekends. And the beauty of it is I get a podcast, I get a long form video, I get 5 to 7 minute clips of like conversations that were really good, uncut from there in the middle. Meaning it's just like the 5 to 7 minutes. There's no like big edits or clips or anything like that. And I get TikTok content, I get YouTube content, I get stuff I can email out, I get stuff I can put in my story, I get an ad. It's a real hack. And if anybody's like me and feels like the conversation style changes when the camera turns on, like you ever feel like you kill it at the listing appointment and then you put yourself on camera, you're like, whoa, I sound stupid. Like, or you try to get with a mortgage officer or an agent on your team, and like they just can't seem to be themselves. Well, like shooting real estate, shoot a podcast. Just get in there and start chatting. And within 15, 20 minutes, you're warm. You start flowing. You get 3 or 4 people in there, and all of a sudden you get some clips that are absolute gold.
So I have a sheet you gave me a long time ago called the content waterfall.
Yep.
Are you okay if I share that with our group?
Please.
Okay, it's amazing. It's pretty much everything he just said, but written into a PDF. I'll put it into our group for everybody to download and use.
So Zach, how many hours a week would you say you're spending on social media? Like, what's your process? I know you talked about the podcast, but do you have a videographer? Do you have editors? Like, how much time are you personally spending? And what are you having done for you?
I love that, dude. I'm not doing any of the editing unless it's like I put it in my hands. I shot it in my car. Like if you see that, it's, you know, I shot it. I did the little tweaks and trims and then I posted it. If it's coming from, you know, my studio, we're having our team edit it. I'm in front of the camera and I'm doing the prep work. Those are my main 2 responsibilities. I read a great book by Jonathan Maxwell called The 5 Levels of Leadership, and it really hit me in the heart when he said the quality of most good leaders that they're lacking to become great leaders is they lack great preparation skills. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And with video especially, I think we all, you know, put content creation in our schedule, and then it gets to that point in the schedule and we're like, what am I creating? And then just nothing ends up happening. So for me, being able to say, okay, we have a videographer, which I know not everyone can have. I'm very blessed to be able to have that. Sean was an intern from high school that's now been with us for close to 5 years, and a virtual editing team that we've slowly hired to now have 5. So that I can go after my highest and best use, being in front of the camera and preparing to be in front of the camera. So that's my system and who we have doing it. To your other question, how many hours am I actually doing it? To be honest with you, it's at the very least 2 hours a day in front of a camera. If you count stuff like this, you know, that happens as well, but more so content that's being created to go out to clientele. I'd say it's an easy 2 hours a day. It's a part of the day. And the beauty of things like TikTok Live and doing like the lead generation viewing while doing it is I'm actually 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm getting my lead gen time and my TikTok Live time at the same time. And I've struggled with that because I'm like, I need to make my calls. I need to do this. And oh yeah, I need to do my content. So I'm like starting to figure out how can I combine them. So like we go live when we're shooting the podcast on our podcast channel so they can see it being made live. And then if they want to watch the edited version, they can see when it comes out, and finding new ways to get kind of creative in that space, Richard, because you're right. You only have so much time.
And then obviously you're the most forward-facing person on your team. And if you're having as many clients as you say you are, which I believe you are, you're not able to handle all those clients.
Correct.
But they want to work with you. Like when they're coming in, they kind of want to work with you. How do you make that handoff to someone else on your team?
Man, a 5-year refining period. Still refining it. A few things. One, on our page, and I can get the link and send it to Kristen. I have a work with me page. It's just a quick lander form, little video I shot in the car because ultimately, and even when I shot it and sent it to my admin, the most recent one, he was like, you want this on your page? I said, yes, because they're going to see a video of me holding my phone in the car, bop, bop, bop. And then they're going to go to this page and they're going to see a video of me in my car, little bit, bop, 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 bop. And from there, I'm able to work with people as I choose. Again, I just like going on the appointments. Most times my system is I'm having the initial call or I'm having the initial listing appointment, and then I'm partnering them with an agent. I like having that initial call because you're right, that can be difficult. And to be honest with you, Richard, it's completely changed our training format for our team and how we hire, because people have high expectations with us because we have a high, you know, expectation brand that we put out. And so I was having issues with handing people off and then they weren't getting that high expectation met. So our training shifted, and the conversation is, you know, hey, Richard, I know that we're looking for this home and we want something ASAP because you were saying June. And because you said that, I want to inform you, our team works as a partner. And so Patricia here is going to partner with me, and I'm going to get us in a group chat, nice and easy, so that when that right home pops up, if I'm doing something, if Patricia's on the rock and roll with another client, somebody is going to get you into that home ASAP because it's absolutely necessary in this market. Is that fair for you? You know, oh yeah, sounds great. And then ultimately, Patricia knows to lead the reins in the group chat.
So basically, you're setting it up to where someone's going to take another person on your team is going to take the lead, but you're always there in the background
Mhm.
if they need something.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And hardly ever am I getting a direct call like, oh, so-and-so didn't call me. And it never happens. And if it does, we take it seriously, and that's probably why it doesn't happen. But yeah, that's the only way to do it. You're right. Because, you know, I'm physically capable. My best year was 67 transactions with a full-time transaction coordinator. And I have a kid now, so I don't want to do that. I'd be very happy closing 25 to 30 and handing off the rest of the 200 plus. You can see this deal board behind me. My goal this year, and I have it behind me during my TikTok live, is 250 appointments set. And so my live is also halfway built in on this goal because they know if I set 250 appointments, my daughter and I get to go to Disney World. So they're in on that. And that's another little emotional piece to it, is they're cheering me on when they hear a good appointment happening and they're like, close it. Like, so it's fun.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great idea.
It happened. I was on a walk and my daughter had hit me with a question, and this only happened 2 weeks ago, right? We were on a walk and I got hit with one of those tough questions. I don't know why it's now focused on the board, the camera is, so I don't know why it's doing that, but either way. She's like, Dad, why do you get home from work so late? And I was like, well, you know, Dad has got to work and blah, blah, blah. She's like, do you like working more than playing with me?
Oh.
I was like, of course not. She's like, well, why do you work so much then? I was like, man, you're an attorney. You're locking me in a corner. and I was like, well, you know how we pay for things, right? And so, and you know, go through how money works and stuff like that. And he's like, I do it for you. She said, he's like, oh, okay. And she didn't really get, you know, I do it for you. And I was like, tell you what, if Dad can hit the goal, and I already told her 250 appointments, you know what that meant. She's like, okay, go set some appointments. What does that mean? I said, I'm trying to set those appointments every day. And if I can get to my goal of 250, why don't we go to Disney World? And it all changed. And then by the next morning, she was talking to me. She's like, are you going to set appointments today? I was like, you're damn right, I'm going to set some appointments today. and so it kind of grew organically. It wasn't a marketing idea, but you're right. Getting the emotional involvement and almost building a story around what otherwise is just a money movement game that can kind of seem cold. It definitely helps. It
I
helps
love
me
that.
too.
Your daughter's probably like packing your lunch and pushing you out the door every morning.
Yeah.
To an extent. Yeah, I'm sure as we get closer to the year, and maybe if I'm a little behind pace, you know, like, why don't you work on Saturdays? Like, you know, just get some extra work in.
I love it. So, okay, my next question. Do you have any hacks for us to help us convert social media engagement into actual deals? Like, is there anything that you've been doing that's been working?
Well, I'll speak to the lives. Anytime I'm getting a question that I think requires a specific answer, maybe one that requires some more back and forth questioning, I've been utilizing the hack of people understanding that back and forth question and answer and TikTok Live's tough.
Yeah.
So I'll give a basic answer to inform people watching, and at the same time let them know, hey, I'd love to actually ask you a follow-up question on that. Would you mind DMing me? You can jump back into live, but DM me real fast just so I can remember, and I'm going to follow up with you on that because I have a couple questions. And building a little bit of, you know, rapport, having them reach out to me, and then letting the conversation go from there. And then I say, hey, let's set up a call. Otherwise, I'd say the easiest way to create engagement from engagement is to engage. If you're not responding to the 2 comments you already get, don't expect to get 20. Because, you know, if Instagram's seeing that you don't engage with the 3 people it's giving you, it's not going to give you 300. It's just the way it works. And honestly, if people regularly engage with your channel and they're not seeing you regularly engage back with them, they're going to get burnt out on continuing to engage with you. So the other side is the content has to be built around something that you can mutually discuss and something that mutually ties to you. And that's why I think location is so easy. It's such a good hack because location. That's what our job's about. People want to know what the restaurants in the area are. Can I give another cool hack? I'm so excited for this. I had a golf course hit me up, and they're holding a tournament. And they said, hey, Zach, we saw you at a happy hour. We tried to get in contact with you. We didn't get connected, but we got this tournament coming up. It's the first one being held at the course. We'd love to have you at the tournament. Would you like to be there? I said, yes, of course I'd like to be there. They're like, great, we'd love to shoot a marketing promo, but we don't know what to do. What do you think? I said, I would like to have your course pro and I go out on the course as the first people that ever play it for 18. We're going to film it with 3 videographers. I'm going to interview him about what he loved about the transformation of this course while we do it. And then we're going to pull clips, we're going to get promo, and we'll push it out before the May 15th. She said, I love it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I get to golf for a job. This is great. But the people that are going to watch it want to know. I've had so many retire to Delaware, relocate to Delaware. You know, I'm talking to the wife, I'm talking to the, you know, the old lady, and then about 25 minutes in the conversation, so what's the golf scene like down there? Like, you know, it's like, all right, 4-bed, 3-bed, but yeah, where's the courses? So people care. So focusing on that local niche.
I love that. I know I started doing fried chicken sandwich videos in the fall, and I constantly have people reaching out to me about that now.
Yeah,
And it's such a simple, small thing. Like,
food reviews is next on my list. We just had somebody send us food. Like, can you try this and film it? Like, God, if this takes off, I'm gonna get fat. But yes, yeah. But it can help a local restaurant. It connects with a local business owner. It all connects. I love it.
amazing. And then one last thing that I was going to talk about, and then we'll open it up if anybody else wants to.
Yeah, and then I got to
questions.
dip in like 5-ish.
You taught us about how to grow our local following a little bit, and this is going back a couple years ago. And you talked about Gary V's
$1.80
rule. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, $1.80 rule is giving your 2 cents on 90 different posts. So easy way to do this. Picking hashtags and locations, and this is for Instagram. You can also do it on TikTok. Okay, Instagram or TikTok, going into the search feature. For me, I could look up Delaware, all right? And I can pick the location, Delaware. And when I pick that location, 2 things are gonna pop up. You're gonna see posts, and then above it, you're gonna see a little map with a little circle. Circle is the story for people you don't follow that have tagged that location. So immediately, I'm gonna go through and I'm going to like every single one of those. If I can reply, some people have private profiles and you can't, I'm going to reply an emoji, something. All right. Other side is then with those rack of posts, I'm going to see a tab for top and a tag for recent. I'm going to switch to recent, and now I have the most recent posts made in that area. I'm going to go through and like, possibly engage with a few of those posts that I see proper, and then I'm going to pick another location, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna pick another location. I'm gonna do the same thing. You get niche-y. You can be like, instead of just a city, think of places that people post pictures, especially ones that you know how to engage with. I use my local gyms. People love posting pictures at the gym, and I love health and fitness. And I definitely do it at my own gym. So guess what? When I go to my gym, people are like, that's the guy from Instagram. So the connection grows. So that feature right there, especially if you hack it double time by doing it at the places you regularly frequent, the restaurants, the bowling alley, the bar and grills, and then you're there in person too, that's a really cool one.
I love that. And then people start recognizing you.
And people start recognizing you, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, quick little other one, local authority. I know it's $15 a month, and I did it as, so I don't know if you guys know this, bots and scammers on Instagram and TikTok are everywhere.
Yeah.
And I get so many fake accounts made after my account. And so Instagram now has this thing where you can pay $15 and you get a blue check mark. And so I did, and it fixed the problem immediately. What happened though, also, is my engagement started to go dramatically. Something about having that little blue check mark, like your story, all of a sudden people are like, oh, someone with a blue check mark like my story. You also prioritize notifications. Did you know that? If you have a blue check mark, and let's say all 10 of us like Brad's post, and I have a blue check mark, it's going to say 10 people like your post, and this guy with a blue check mark was one of them. So you're prioritized in notification as well. So talking about hacks, could be a little hack.
I like that. That's actually a good idea. I think, Rich, you've got a blue check, don't you? Have you noticed a big difference since you started paying for it?
Mainly that I don't have any bot accounts now. Like I was getting a few, but I haven't seen one since I got the check mark.
Yeah,
I didn't
I'm
know
waiting for
about the
TikTok to give me a check,
notification.
man. It's killing me.
Still waiting on the engagement to go up, the views and stuff to go up, but
But the
one day.
engagement too comes with it. Understand, it's not cool to see a verified account's content. It's cool when a verified account interacts with your content.
I agree
Fair
with
enough.
you. I think our brains are still wired to when we see a blue check mark
I think it's a
that there's a
celebrity.
level
It's
of
been
importance.
years. It's been
Yeah,
a
there's a level of
decade.
importance there.
It's
That
been a
person's a big
decade of
deal.
like
Yeah.
my celebrity people I look at, and
Yes.
absolutely, you're 100%
Yeah.
right. It
Even though now
doesn't-
anybody can get it, we're not there yet up here to really correspond
which
that.
I think we get to a point where I honestly think celebrity checks maybe become like a purple check mark or something like that. There does need to be a
Tiers.
level to it. There
Yeah.
needs to be tiers because there
Yeah.
is a reason I want this check mark because it stops the bots. But
Right.
there's also a reason, Drake needs a check mark, and it's
Yeah.
not the same reason I need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's also something to be said that in real estate, I feel that we're a little bit more connected to what's going on social media in general, to where we all know that you can pay for the blue check mark,
Very true.
but maybe 95% of the other people
Yeah.
out there, they've never paid attention. They weren't getting, the broke agents post on how
Yeah.
dumb it was, or whoever
Yeah.
wanted to, like, they weren't in the real
Very
estate
true.
war of why
Very
to and
true.
why not. So it's the
That's a
same
great
thing when
point.
we talk about, our people see, like right now, all I see on my feed is people complaining about NAR, but 95% of people out there aren't seeing what we're seeing because we see a lot of real estate agent stuff. So
Yep.
we kind of got to remember that it's what we're seeing, because we all follow each other, is different than what the consumer facing is seeing.
Definitely. Zach, I know you have to run. You've got stuff going on today, but we appreciate you so much. This was an awesome session. Is there anything that you could leave us with that might be life-changing, or at least make us like you more?
Change our lives, Zach.
No pressure.
You have 20 seconds.
You got nothing. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, you're making me nervous. All right, this was fun. I'd love to come back anytime. And again, if we want to have a whole conversation around YouTube, that's a whole nother ball game, and it's really been successful for us too. So we did
Awesome.
really go
Maybe
into
we'll
that.
hit you up in a couple months about that too.
Cool. All right, guys, have a great one.
Amazing. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Zach.
Zach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach.
I just realized I was muted like the whole time and I was trying to chime in, but
Oh, you thought everyone was just like, fuck you, Jared. Shut the fuck up.
yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, Andrew, you go ahead. Kristen, you go ahead. But just to the local stuff and stuff people care about, on my TikTok for the last week since my hockey team's been in the playoffs, I posted a couple videos, and those TikToks have done better than any of my other, just reposting and repurposing like Instagram stuff. And so like he was talking about golf, but if you've got a local sports team, I know it's not like stuff that we all care about, but even like Andrew, like putting a gay spin on going to see your
Madonna.
local sports team.
Oh, yeah.
Madonna, or like,
Yeah.
whatever, right? But, even if you're not really into it, like maybe just going from like the, the dumb blonde, approach to it, like, hey, I'm going to a London Knights game for the first time. Like, what do I think of it?
Yeah.
I'm attacked right now. Dumb blonde, London Knights.
Well, I was thinking of Andrew with the wig when I said
Oh,
dumb.
got it.
And I
Okay.
appreciate that. And that's where my brain went as well. Thank you, Jared.
Okay, Jared, question for you since we're masterminding. When you were posting about the hockey games, are you hashtagging or tagging
So
the
I was-
location, or
yeah,
what were you
so
doing to try and force it to your city?
The location feature in TikTok is pretty powerful. And so, I was tagging Merit. I was tagging, Merit BC, Merit Centennials, like the league, BCHL, and was doing all those things. And I was talking about, how it could be the last time and blah, blah, blah. And you know, I made a bet with a mortgage broker in the other community that we were playing, and posted that online, and I fucking lost. And I'm gonna have to post
Well,
a
that's
video
the
with
banana
banana soup
suit.
now. But you know, it was kind of like the same thing that Zach was saying. You're kind of bringing people in, and by giving them a reason to watch, like, oh, this guy might have to wear a banana suit now. You know, I'm kind of invested. But it got, you know, I don't know if anyone's kind of in the TikTok hole of like, oh, your posts get 300, 400, 200
Yeah.
views. These ones got like, you know, 1,000, 600, 800, and you know, they're all local content. Jesus, phone's blown up now.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got to completely switch my TikTok game up because it won't let me post anything that I do.
Oh, music, right.
Yeah, so like for some reason Instagram and Facebook are fine with it. They understand parody. TikTok does not understand parody.
no.
So everything is like, yeah, it's muted, muted, muted. So I just stopped posting there. So I'm going to try to do a lot more San Francisco and home tours
Well,
on
and I think
TikTok.
that's the way to go on TikTok, right? Like, same for, you know, Kristen and maybe you, Andrew. Like, you know, your Instagram so might be more realtor facing and everything, and you're looking for referrals maybe and all that stuff. But you know, on TikTok, it's kind of, you know, you can niche down to more of your market, like Zach was saying, and you know, you want to talk to people from Delaware. You know, for me, like, I'd also want to talk to people that move here from, you know, Vancouver or wherever, right? So, like you said, talk to those people that maybe can't afford to live in San Francisco anymore, or
That's the tough part is every time I do a San Francisco facing post, the amount of hate that I like, it's all negative comments by how many poop on the street comments I get, how many car breaking comments I'll get, how many this house would cost $200,000 and it costs $10 million in San Francisco. There's a lot of hate for my city outside of my city for people that don't understand it.
yeah,
I think the thing with that is that realizing that those people that are putting hate on your content, they're not the people that you're trying to reach anyway. So whatever, they're
Yeah.
hating it, but it's engagement, which is
It's
pushing
engagement.
it further.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know I stopped posting on TikTok because I couldn't handle the meanness of everybody on it. But after today, I'm thinking like, maybe I keep doing Instagram the way that I'm doing it and do a little bit of local stuff, do the memes and like combine my content the way I've been doing it, but start using my TikTok to be more localized because maybe
Yeah.
that's something that I need to explore. I'm not going to do
Yeah.
YouTube. That's just the reality of it. I can't talk for that long without freezing and going blank. So
mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start trying to do that.
Like, did you post your Wayne's World video to TikTok?
I couldn't. It wouldn't let me because of the music.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, they're
It's
very, very, I've tried so I used to be able to post the parody and then just use the music from that parody, like the actual like song,
Yeah.
and put it at just a low level. So it doesn't give me credit for original music, but that song would be like, and then now they obviously figured out that trick because I can't do that even anymore.
It wouldn't let me either. It just straight up won't let me post it. So
Yeah. So it's TikTok, I think, again, with Instagram, if something comes back where it's like, hey, this is copyright, I'll just fight it and say, well, it's parody. And then it takes about 20-30 minutes, but then they'll allow it. With TikTok, there's no way to do that. So YouTube, I'm a little worried about YouTube as well, because YouTube's pretty weird about copyright as well.
Yeah.
Rebecca, you were going to say something.
Oh, about your local content. Could you make memes related to the city that you're in? So it's like specific, because there's a lot of things you could make fun of in my city, but how would that work?
That's a good idea. I know when I did that one, I put Mayor Quimby on a picture of the city of London. And I was like, if you were the mayor of London for one day, what would be the first thing that you did? And I got a lot of local engagement on that one. So maybe you're right. I should try and add London to my memes a little bit more.
Yeah, and just focus, like, just put all the creative like juices and energy into like, how can I like, and use the news articles that are happening in your city and throw in your hilarious twist to all the local articles and things that are happening with the community. Like, let's say like a new bus stop goes in and it's like, how many birds do you think are going to shit on this one, you know?
Yeah.
Or just like some kind of comedy associated to local events that are happening, so that, because you're so good at that,
Thank
but
you.
you've always related it to
Real
the
estate.
real estate drama.
Mhm.
But if you relate it to the local drama and just kind of switch it in your head, that could
See,
probably
this is why I love this, you guys, because I can give everybody advice, but I can't give myself advice. So when you're giving me advice, it's just like things I never would have thought of.
It resonates.
Yeah, totally.
I gotta hop off, but I just want to say like the one thing that resonated with me the most is that I might actually start another page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
I'm,
what.
you know, I might just start fresh. There's it's so specific what I'm doing with my page right now that I don't know if anybody else resonated with this, but like to completely switch it up and watch the engagement go down and kind of just like not really confuse the audience that I have right now, but just sort of like switch it up like that. I would just rather kind of start fresh because I don't really have that many consumers following my page right now anyways. And they'll still be entertained by the type of content I've been putting out for years, but I can just start fresh. And then there's something about that that just felt so sort of like freeing and like, oh yeah, all these things that I'm hearing in this mastermind, I can just start doing in this new page.
Well, is there also a way that to help kind of grow the new page that like certain things that fit both those pages, can you collab with yourself?
Yeah, you collab.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
And the people that want to follow that page can still follow it. Like you'll still pivot some people over to there if they want to, but it doesn't have to be the focus of the page that you have right now, your pre-existing page. Like you can just kind of keep continuing to doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
maybe at a lower scale because you're also like making content for another page now, but or less frequent. But yeah,
I really hope that one day YouTube, you can start collabing on YouTube, because I think that that's something that YouTube's missing. Because I want to do like I'm trying to create like a cooking show that I want to do with other agents, but to get their involvement, it's like if you could collab YouTube, like yeah, we can collab when we post things like together on Instagram or whatever, but if you could collab it on YouTube, like it could really help like grow channels out. And I'm not sure why they haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Hopefully
because
you're
you
right.
can't even collab on YouTube Shorts, right?
No,
There's no collabs.
that I know of. Not that I know of. On TikTok, you can't either, right? It's just Instagram. You can collab.
Yeah, I
You
guess
can
not.
tag, you
Encouraged
tag people, but
everybody.
you can't like collab.
One of the things Chelsea is talking about lately is
I gotta
that
hop off. Sorry, guys.
okay, bye, Andrew.
Andrew.
The view count sometimes doesn't matter. It just takes that one person who's watching it from your local audience. That makes a difference. So
You're talking Chelsea Pites?
yeah, I feel like her message lately has been all about like, don't focus on so much the views, but the just connecting with the local audience, or that maybe even your feeder audiences.
Yeah.
On because like just this last week I got this crazy lead where I'm getting like 3 buyers from an agent that just Googled my city and found me. I don't have a lot of views or a lot of people that way, but I think focusing less on the numbers and more on just the engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the like engagement and DMs are more important than views. Again, even if you get 1 million views, it's where are those 1 million views coming from? You can't have 1 million conversations, but it's really the conversations you have of the people that you're closest with, or that are. And I don't have a ton of views, you know, I do decent, but I've gone out where someone, you know, I'm taking like a wood shop class in at our city college. And I was in there and girl came up to me. She's like, "Hey, you're the realtor that does Instagram." And I'm like, I've never met her before, never seen her before, but it's
working.
People that don't, she's never liked anything, but people are watching, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and I've, you know, friends of friends, a lot of it times it's like the friends of friends, like I'll go meet up with a friend or meet someone that they know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I follow your stuff on Instagram." I'm like, "Yeah, but no likes, no comments, but
A
they're
lot of
watching and
people
hope."
engage.
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find that a
Mhm.
lot too, actually. Like it's a lot of people that you didn't really know were following along just in the background, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you'll just get that quick.
They're lurking.
It's like, oh hey Ryan, I love what you're doing, and like, yeah.
like my whole family, like extended family, they all know what I'm doing. They never like or comment anything, but if I
Mhm.
went to a family reunion, they would talk about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, last week, so Ryan and I and our friend Paula did this stupid Wayne's World video, but we had so much fun doing it.
It
I
was so
posted it on
fun.
Friday, and I had people that didn't like it or comment on it and had no engagement with the post whatsoever. I did a deal on Saturday night with a bunch of agents. I had ended up having a few offers come in on one of my listings, and they're like, "Oh my God, your Wayne's World video was so funny!" And I'm like, "I didn't even know you followed me."
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
any sort of networking event with local agents, I'll get a few like, "Oh yeah, I love what you're doing." I'm like, you know that you can comment.
Yeah, help me out here.
I think
That was
people
so
are
relatable
afraid.
for like the 90s babies too. I think it was a couple of years before my time when I was born, but I still, I still watched the movie after, and I think I had so many messages from people that like had watched it and like forgot about it and stuff like that.
I used to know every line of that movie by heart.
So did
when I
I.
was like, and like I watched it probably 100 times. Like this one summer, me and my stepbrothers, like we watched it so often that by the end I could basically talk the whole movie from beginning to end.
I
That's
love
awesome.
I really want to do that Pleasantville one, Kristen. I have a great idea that kind of ran off that one for a condo area that hopefully I'll have a listing coming up. But these guys, they hate the condo area. They think it's like Pleasantville. The condo fee went up by like $50, and they called me and they're like, Ryan, we're out. So I think they're the perfect clients to do it at, and
Yeah.
they feel the same way. Like their little condo area is just like Pleasantville. So it'd be a fun one, I think.
Actually, another thing, I don't know if it'll help you guys at all, but Ryan, Paula, and I started doing this thing called Content Day in London where we get together every Wednesday and we're just doing house tours of each other's listings or making a funny video or just even getting together to brainstorm ideas on stuff. We're kind of just beginning stages of it. We've been doing it for a few weeks now, but I feel like it's getting us in front of each other's audiences, but it's also getting more local businesses seeing our stuff as well. I've noticed the last couple of videos, like the hacker video, I had a bunch of restaurants from Wortley Village start following me after we posted that.
Oh, cool.
There's been a few like little small things of people that probably never would have followed us or known we existed had we not been doing little things together.
So now you have your content day with Ryan and Paula and your content day with Sean and
Yeah.
Giancarlo.
Putting those reps in, that's what I'm trying to do. Just, try some new ideas and stay consistent with it.
It's a muscle.
Then are you editing the content days? Or are you sending them off?
No, we're editing. We have yet to find an editor. We were going to, hang on. 1 second here.
Yeah, I try to edit everything